Hi guys, Freaky Fishko here with another video for you today. Today we're going to do some combo tutorials with my M.F.F.D deck that I made third place at locals last week. I have changed the list slightly since that video. I can talk through that in the description of this video as well if you're interested. But otherwise, we're going to do some small combos, and at the end of the video we'll do some test hands. I will talk through the combo as well, so there won't be any music for this one. Any questions on the deck, obviously feel free to comment below. I'm very happy to talk about this deck. I'm probably going to play this at my locals as well tomorrow because the deck's so fun to play while I still can with Verte and Scythe still legal in the same format. So the first combo we're going to talk through is like the basic combo, and what that is a way to get to swap frog. So this could be swap or dupe, as long as you have a metal foe. This can be metal foe, it could be summoner's art, it could be painful decision, whatever you need to be. And then finally just an angler in hand. This is just one of the combos. This deck is very unlinear. You can play with many different hands. Sometimes they may look like bricks, you just need to think a bit out of the box with them. But we'll show you this small 3-card combo, as it were, to see how the deck actually can have a bit of synergy. We're going to assume again our opponent has no hand traps for the sake of the combo. So we'll start by normaling someone in the dupe. A lot of people then give you a little bit of a frowny face and wondering why you're doing it. Activate our metal foe, use the metal foe to pop the dupe, and we're going to set from here a counter. Depending on what your hand might be, you might set a parametal foe's fusion for an extra extender, 2 extenders technically, because Mithrillium is 2 extenders and 1. But here we're just going to get a counter for added bit of interruption. This is going to trigger the dupe frog because it doesn't miss timing, and we're going to add a swap frog to our hand. Don't know why I'm shuffling for the sake of the combo. So counter's now set on the board. Now we're going to activate the swap in hand, especially something that does activate. I just say special swap, discard the nimble. Chain link 1, swap, chain link 2, nimble, so we get chain block, so we're definitely going to get a toad out of this unless they like crow us or skullmaster us. So the nimble is going to summon a manta and a beaver. 2 nimbles is what I should say. If I can actually find my mantas. 1, 2, and then swap is going to send a Ronin to the graveyard. It's really hard to do with a 60-card deck, is find the 2 of. It's here somewhere, there we go. From here, we are going to activate the Ronin, banishing the dupe to special. Now you have a toad. You can also get nibbed in this combo, but I don't really care. With the Brave Engine so popular, not a lot of people are nibbing people. And if they do nib you, you still have a way to get to Verte, because you have Ronin and swap engrave. You can use the nib token into Link Spider, summon back the Ronin, make Verte, so you still make Verte DPE even if you get nibbed. From here, we also make these into your Verte, and then you can go Verte to summon your DPE. I'm not going to bother putting the garnets in for the video, so we just summon the DPE. Obviously, the next turn, swap is going to trigger, toad is going to trigger summon the dupe. So by the time it gets to the main phase, your board will be this, which doesn't seem like a lot, but this is only 3 cards, and it gets you a negate, a pop, battle protection, and another interruption through counter summoning Vanisher next, or the time they pop a card. That could be you a DPing. So you could go like DP, pop yourself in a card, trigger the counter, summon Vanisher, banish a card, which is quite nice. If you leave Verte on the board for next turn, you can do funny things like at the end of your combo, you can then just use Verte to send Metal Foe's fusion. If you have enough Metal Foes or Parametal Foes fusion, there's a lot of fun things you can do with this deck. That's a 3-card combo. That's like your basic M board if you need to brick. We're going to go through another combo now. Okay guys, so another 3-card combo. This time you've got 2 Metal Foe scales, which again can be any of your Metal Foes or Metal Foe searchers, and a lifeless leaf fish. This could also be a Gen X Undyne. However, the Gen X Undyne combo route doesn't go as far, hasn't got quite enough high enough ceiling because it doesn't shuffle back the Manta. In this case, we'll be abusing the fact that Manta and Angler, or Manta isn't once per turn. To start off, we'll go normal summon the leaf fish. Leaf fish effect, send a fish from deck to grave. We will send an angler. Again, 60-card deck, so you spend a lot of time looking for the card you need. Angler effect engrave is going to special summon 2 nimbles from our deck. So we'll summon a manta and a beaver. It's very important that you summon 1 of each. my arm a little itch. What we're going to do here is going to activate the Silvered. Use a Silvered to pop the Manta, which is going to set a M.F.F.D counter from deck. Again, this is just a 3-card combo. If you have more, and we have more M.F.F.Ds, you can set the power M.F.F.Ds to get that extra combo ability coming out. This is going to trigger the Manta because it's not, it doesn't miss timing, thankfully. This whole deck works the same way as Yang Zing M.F.F.D works. A Manta will summon 2 more Manta from your deck. So 3 link material that way. What we are going to do here is we're going to link the Leaf Fish and the Manta into the grave to make a Dagda. And we are going to Leaf Fish and Grave effect banish itself to shuffle in 3 fish from the grave, draw 1 card. So we shuffle in the 2 Manta and the Angler, and we draw a card. As long as you don't draw a Manta here, you're perfectly fine. If you do draw Manta, that sucks, but you've at least still got Verte Scythe, which is very nice. Give that a little cut and draw an extra card. We draw a Dupe Frog. It's not a massive problem. We can always pendulum summon that as well, to be honest. For this combo route, we won't do that. We'll stick to our game plan. We'll activate then the Stealing next. We'll go Stealing, target Manta, chain the Dagda, which is going to get us our Scythe. Again, looking through the deck. I am sorry, guys. Obviously, a lot of this video will be me looking through this deck to find certain cards, but I feel like it's important to not try and skip steps with lots of editing. Sorry. Dagda's a set Scythe. Stealing's then going to pop the Manta. I'll put you up there for now. We've got 1 last zone that we can use, which is very good. And we will set a we will set a power M.F.F.D's fusion in case one of our scales gets popped, and we can search and we can get a M.F.F's in hand next turn. Manta is then going to trigger because it's not once per turn, which is going to summon 2 more Manta from our deck. The fact these cards aren't once per turn is kind of busted. It's just a shame that there's not many things that can trigger them. Realistically, M.F.F.D is probably the best one. There was, if you remember, I did do a video a while ago on True King fish combo frog. This is like the evolution of that. I just thought, you know what, M.F.Fs are more consistent than the True King engine, so we'll just play this version. At this point, we can then make a Verte. And then we've all seen this route before, so we go Verte, send the Garnets, summon your DP. It doesn't look like, again, like a big board, but it's only a 3-card combo. You will have always 2 other cards in your hand. That would be other extenders. We do also get a draw off of the Lifeless Leaf Fish, so you have 3 other cards in hand at this point. We haven't pendulum summoned, so you can still pendulum summon things, make it like IP. You can make the Dagda into an Appaloosa if you do that as well. And you're going to end on a board of roughly Scythe DPE, Appaloosa or Toad, or a version of all these with an IP going into like Unicorn if you need to as well. Obviously, we have got the counter as well for the Summer Vanisher banish that way. But as you can see, it's very consistent and there's a lot of synergy, which is really good with the 3-card combos. What we will do now is we will do a couple of test hands. I'll shuffle up, do some test hands, and see what we can do with 5-card hands. So shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Hopefully we don't break because that sucks for the video. Give a little cut. And we got M.F.F.D, 2 M.F.F.Ds, Undying Cestrals, we've got 1 Garnet and a M.F.F.D. Right, let's play with this hand. To play round roll, we'll go Painful Decision. Oh, no, that's a lie. Technically, if you want to play round roll, you go Undying first, because it adds the Gen X controller. But again, we'll just believe they don't have any hand traps for the combo. But if you want to play round roll, you do that first. We'll get the Gold Driver here because it's the biggest scale one and we want it in rotation to later on. We'll go normal summon the Undying. They're now looking at you very perplexed because you've added a M.F.F.D and you're normal summoning an Undying. Undying adds cost. You will send the Angler to add the controller, which was just here. So Angler's then going to trigger. I was thinking of a way, because this is a tuner, of like pendulum summoning it and doing weird and wacky combos like that, but sadly it doesn't really work out. You need level 5 if you want to make it into Savage, and this deck doesn't play a lot of level 5s. You could play like level 7 synchros, but or you can go like Hulk combo, but that takes up too many extra slots basically in the extra deck, so I didn't do that. So Anglers are going to summon 2 of these. Very similar to the last one, we'll go Bismugear first, because Bismugear pop the Manta. We'll set in Power Metamorphosis Fusion here. So much shuffling. You can see why sometimes I was trying to find a way of also doing things in time with this deck, but it didn't really work. Manta then going to trigger, get you 2 more Manta. I haven't shuffled, but I didn't actually pay attention to where my Mantas were. We haven't got a leaf fish, so we can't unfortunately abuse that not once per turn this, but we'll find a way. From here we're going to link these 2 into a Dagda, so we can get a Scythe into rotation. We're going to activate the Stealing, use the Stealing to pop the Bismugear. There's no point popping either of these because we don't have any more Mantras in deck. Bismugear will set the counter. Oh, sorry, Stealing will set the counter. We're also going to activate Bismugear for a card search in the end phase. I forgot as well, for that we're going to trigger the Scythe Dagda. That's a thing I always forget to do. I always forget to trigger the Dagda. I don't normally play with the Scythe engine in my decks. Also, the other problem is this looks like Scythe to me. I'm glancing from my deck. Leaffish looks a lot like Scythe. I think they've got the same like card art shape or pattern. Like the colours of these I think are very similar. So yeah, we'll set Scythe off that. Give that a little shuffle. Sorry about that guys, the doorbell went. From here we're going to activate the Power Metamorphosis Fusion that we set, fusing the Gold Driver and the Bismugear into a M.F.F.D, which is going to go here. We're then going to use the M.F.F.D, shuffling the Power Metamorphosis Fusion and the Bismugear to bounce the Steel into our hand, just so we can get the Power Metamorphosis Fusion back into the deck. Otherwise we run out of material for the grind. We're then going to link M.F.F.D and Beaver into a Verte. That's going to trigger the M.F.F.D to summon back the Gold Driver from our graveyard. Remember, we've still got these 3 cards in our hand. We're then going to link the the Gold Driver and the Manta into an IP. And then we're going to go Verte, summon the DP, sending the Garnets, which again I won't do. So in this end board, we've got Scythe Lock with DP, we've got counter for the Float and Banish, we've got IP into a Unicorn pitching the controller if we need it, we've got a 3 material Appaloosa if we need it, or a 2 material Appaloosa if we want to keep Verte on the board. And we've still got a follow-up, because you forget like counter engrave, you can banish it your next turn to add back the Gold Driver, which will give you scales for your next turn as well. Is this deck a lot of fun? Yes. This is probably the most fun deck I've played in a very long time. It can occasionally brick. It's not like the world's best deck. It's not meta like Brave, or Based, sorry. But it's just fun to play like loads of frogs and pendulums that shouldn't really work. You're not really playing like a normal pendulum deck. You're playing like a link combo deck with an engine added in. So second test times, let's see how it goes. That's a Metal Foe, that's a Beaver, so that's one of our normals. Leaffish, that is also normal, but we can also pendulum summon it. If we get 2 scales, we have a scale, and two Leaffish. That's a bit sad, but it gives us a follow-up the next time. Right, so we'll go Painful first, get us a scale 8, which will be Stealing, because it's the only scale 8 that we can get with a Painful. So, being at Stealing. The good thing about Painful as well, that it fuels M.F.F.D for later on, which is quite nice. So we'll go normal with the Beaver, summon Manta. If they ash you here, it's not a big problem, because you just go, okay, pendulum, summon the Leaffish, do the exact same thing. Like, an ash in this deck can hurt at some points, but most of the time you're pretty secured against it, which is very cool. Same thing if they Ash the Manta, so okay, pendulum summon this, whatever. So summon the Manta, will activate steal and pop the Manta, set a counter. Oh, look at that. Manta triggers, Ash, oh no. Anyway, summon 2 Manta from the Manta. Now you're thinking, but you've already got the Mantas on board, so what you can actually do with the Leaf Fish? Well, Leaf Fish can send Angler and still get us 2 Beaver, and then we can get the Manta again in a minute. So we'll do that first. So we'll go link these 2 into a Dagda. We will then activate the Mailcaster. We will then Pendulum Summon, we'll go Pendulum Summon 1. I could summon the Leaf Fish, both of them here, and trigger 1, but I kind of want to have something kept up for next turn. So we'll Pendulum the Leaf Fish will trigger Chainik 1, Dagda Chainik 2, just so we don't draw it later on with the Leaf Fish shuffle back. Leaf Fish will trigger send a Angler, wherever he is. Angler will then trigger summoning 2 Nimbles, which will be your last 2 Beavers. So we get both the Beavers. There's one. There should be one in here somewhere. So even if you draw like some of the Mantas or some of the stuff, or if you've used like the Mantas already, you can summon the Beavers off the Angler, which are free link material. There's nothing wrong with doing that. We're going to link the Leaf Fish and the Beaver away into an IP. We are then going to banish the Leaf Fish, shuffle in the Angler and the 2 Manta, and we will draw a bonus card. So at the moment we've got one zone open, Spun Trap zone, because we've got the counter set off the M.F.F.D, and we've got a Scythe set off the Dagda. So shuffle and cut. There's something on my sleeve. And draw an extra card, an Angler. That's quite ironic. Right, now we go whichever one we didn't use. I think it was the Mailcaster. We pop the Manta again, and we set a power M.F.F.D. We set up a M.F.F.D fusion, actually, because in case they storm or back row for whatever reason, try and get rid of our scales, it gives us an upstart goblin. Manta will then trigger, because again, it's not once per turn. And we will summon 2 more Manta. There's 1. There's 2. I'm actually going to link these 3 into an Appaloosa. So it's an Appaloosa protected by IP as well. So it's a 4 material Appaloosa, a 3 material Appaloosa. And then we link these 2 into Verte. And then we go Verte, send, summon DP. And we've still got 2 cards in hand. So again, our end board is we've got the Scythe Lock, we've got a 3 material Appaloosa, and we've got a counter float and banish. We've got still technically 2 starters for next turn, depending on what we draw. We've definitely got a Leaf Fish. The fun thing is, if I kept IP on the board and made Unicorn, and then like went Unicorn F, I could trigger the Angler, but we don't have any more Nibbles in deck anyway. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick video on some combos of this deck. I appreciate it's not the most lenient deck. There's a lot of hands you'll draw and you'll just go, what do I do with this hand? And you've got to try and just play it out. It mostly involves just really resource managing your pops, make sure you do everything right in the right order. Sometimes I do forget that. A lot of my videos, thankfully at locals, it was my first time trying to pilot this deck. A lot of people are like, no, you can still trigger the Dagda now, I don't really mind, which is very thankful. Tomorrow I will definitely make sure that I play it as well as I can do, and hopefully we will come first. If we come like 19th, then we know that things weren't meant to be and it was just a lucky streak. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. Goodbye.